Hello, thank you and welcome. My name is Kathryn Poggi, and it is my pleasure to speak to you today from the Patent Pittsburgh office and in connection with the Patent Behavior Initiative. Today's topic is known as the CHAMPS protocol, and it is a wonderful resource to help keep our youth engaged during unpredictable times and when routines may not seem as normal. Anytime we have a patent event or patent training, we always start out with our mission, and the mission is captured on this slide, and it truly sits in our ability to grow technical assistance and to offer supports to all of the initiatives that are identified under the Bureau of Special Education. In addition, we have an ongoing commitment to least restrictive environments. And with that, we want to ensure that we are working through all steps and resources in a general education lens before more restrictive or other items are considered for involvement. So today's series is going to be connected to how we speak with our children and youth around COVID-19. One note of caution is the fact that this is a very new topic for everyone that is involved. So we need to be very careful not to pressure children to talk about things or youth to express how they're feeling. However, if they volunteer and they want to process those details, that is sometimes very helpful in ways that we can help them to express their feelings. The big takeaway with that is allowing them to initiate and take the driver's seat with their ability to express and talk about things that seem off schedule and atypical at this time. So what is COVID-19? Well, when we look at the World Health Organization, what we were able to see is that it is from a large family of viruses. It is very new. It has just been identified in 2019. And also the common signs really mirror many things that are associated with the flu. Primary attention needs to be given to respiratory systems, fever, coughing, shortness of breath, and or any extenuating breathing difficulties. Pennsylvania health recommendations are captured on this slide. And with that, we need to make sure that we are aware of signs that are associated with that. So paying attention to any existence of a fever, a cough, or shortness of breath. And always making sure that we're taking any precautions to wash our hands, not touching our face, and to avoid folks that may be symptomatic. Today's routine and today's topic area presents to the need to keep things as normal as possible for our youth. So with that, I have an example of a daily schedule that comes to us through our systems partner at Devereaux. And keeping our youth on a schedule that is most predictable is really the healthiest way to go about that. So starting and ending their day at a normal time and making sure that time segments are blocked off within 30-minute intervals or relative to that, which would mirror very much their school day. We need to also be thinking about their cognitive level. This example could be something that could be adapted to a younger or an older student. The next page allows us to look at the remainder of the day. So in the afternoon, we may have multiple academic times within the morning, and in the afternoon too, folding in purposeful times that they can read. They may be able to work through different academic areas that have been shared, and also making sure that we have some downtime that they can choose, because choice is such a healthy option. And that could be something that they could do on their own or going outside, or something that they may opt to do as a favorite activity. Lastly, we want to ensure that we are ending their day just as predictably as we started. So maintaining that evening bedtime. The primary focus and topic area of today is to talk through the CHAMPS protocol. And CHAMPS is an acronym that is best associated with classroom management. The acronym is depicted on this screen. So C pertains to, can youth or students talk to each other? H is if youth or students are able to ask questions. A pertains to an activity level, so what is going to be happening that we're going to have them engaged in. M is movement. Are the youth allowed to be up and moving throughout an activity, or is it something that is centralized to a certain area? And P pertains to what that behavior looks like, how we're going to know that they are actively engaged and being successful. Let's work through each of the areas independently. So where it can work and where we find most success is when we're trying to engage our youth in instructional content. So those things could be areas that you're working through, perhaps a direct instruction, something that has been sent home that you want to keep your youth engaged in as they maintain a normal routine. It can also be something that is a cooperative activity. Maybe you have siblings that are working together in a common space. There could be a skill set or a competency check that they have to work through a quiz or a test that has been sent home. Other areas can extend beyond the classroom and beyond instructional focus, where it could be relating to transitions. Transitions could be them getting ready and arriving into an instructional area, them also getting their materials ready. So what is needed for this particular activity? If we need to move to a different location, because we understand that family dynamics and routines are disrupted across all parties. So you may one day be doing instruction in the kitchen area, and then another day there may be times that they're working within their own bedroom or within a other recreational area within the home. Those all are considerations that you could work through with CHAMPS. In addition, putting things away. Getting started is just as important as getting cleaned up and wrapping up an instructional time. So walking them through the steps to know, this is how we clean up, this is where our materials will go, this is how we can access things when we need them again. Let's work through each of the areas together. So when I think about CHAMPS and we talk about the conversation level, this is something that you may want to talk through before you get their attention and started within the activity, knowing that they understand the expectations. So conversations can include, how do they access activities and how do they access if you are needed during any level of help? So do I use a whisper? Many times we use volume levels when we teach youth sound and what they can do as far as accessing attention. So 0 level is typically no sound or no talking. However, 1 could be a whisper. And what voice level could they use? So are they able to utilize 1, whisper level, to access help or to seek out clarity? Or 2, are they allowed to talk with a neighbor? If you have siblings that are there, can they talk amongst each other to try to brainstorm and work through those concepts together? Also, how long can that conversation last? Do we do 1 or 2 exchanges? Do we talk for 30 seconds? Do we set a timer? The creativity is endless, but making sure that you have this established on the upfront is something that will help to keep your youth engaged and to lessen any downtime or chatter that may not be connected to that instructional activity. H pertains to help. So how is your youth able to access help or to get questions answered? How do your youth get your attention? In schools, we have many purposeful signals. They may be taught to raise their hand. They may be taught to stand up to access materials. How will you do that within this setting? If you are within the immediate context, maybe them raising their hands, which is similar to a classroom, is most appropriate. Other ways could be that they could actually have the help response. Help, I have a question. And they're able to shout that out to you to access attention. Making sure that we teach that on the upfront will be highly helpful. A pertains to activity. With that, what is the end product of this activity? Will we have a completed skill sheet? Will we actually have a 3D product that they are building or assembling something? Will we have a completed series of activities that were completed on a Chromebook or on one of their devices? What should they do during the course of that activity? And what is the importance of thinking ahead? If they finish that activity quicker than it is expected, what can they transition to? Does that mean that they leave the instructional area, or do they check their schedule and move on to the next item that may be needed? Those are all ample things that you would want to think through. M connects to movement. Can the youth or student get out of their seat? So with that, are they able to access other materials that may be needed? They may have their book bag or their box of study materials right there with them. If they realize that something is missing, do they wait until the conclusion of this activity, or do they get up midstream? And with that, are they able to go and access those materials? Are they able to get up and do a stretch break or a bathroom break? How maintaining a schedule is expected. Many times within our classrooms, we have scheduled breaks where we get up and we do purposeful movements. We get up and we get a drink of water. We visit our restroom or whatever may be needed throughout the day. Having those thoughts and those purposeful conversations will keep things predictable to their daily routine and help them to also understand how they can access materials that are needed. And what is the permission connected to that? Do they need to let you know, I forgot something that I need for my Chromebook. I need to get it. It is downstairs within my backpack, or it is upstairs in my desk drawer. Having those purposeful conversations will help their day feel more streamlined and organized. Lastly is participation. How do I know that the youth are purposefully participating and they're doing it responsibly? What behaviors show that they are participating? And what may be behaviors that they're not participating? So with that, having that focused conversation, I am going to know that you're participating when I check in and I know that you are within your Chromebook or you're working within your chapter book and you're on the page that is assigned. I am going to know that you're participating because I see that you're taking notes and you're drawing out the answer that is connected to the content area that we just read together. I am going to know that you are participating because I can see that the problems are being completed on the page. I can see that you're filling in the spaces that are asking for a response. All of those details will help you make those determinations. Lastly is success. And success is the biggest part of this equation. We want our youth to be successful. And with that, how do we know that we have success? Well, is it that we go back and we check our schedule, that we know that we completed this area? Is it that we read through it together and we check the answers, that we see that it lines up with what we were seeking? Or is it that we know that we can work through one of our Chromebook activities and it does a competency check within that? Some of our lessons will have automatic feedback, and we'll have the ability that you can check to see if the youth has been successful. Those are things that will keep the motivation high for your learner and allow them to remain engaged during these unpredictable times. Lastly, I have an example of what a CHAMPS classroom application may look like, and you could use this as an example if you'd like to create it within your home, where you're depicting what the conversation looks like. And with that, during instruction or during activity, do we allow conversation back and forth? How are we asking for help? Are the youth coming to see you and accessing attention physically by getting up and coming to you within the room? What is that activity level? Are they working quietly at their table? Are they working quietly within their desk? How can they maintain that? Movement, as indicated, is that connected to if they're allowed to access other materials? And can they take stretch breaks, different things of those natures? And participation and success are also depicted. Lastly, we want to make sure that you're connected to all patent resources. Our website is captured on this page, and please know that we are continually dedicated to make sure that you are fully equipped during these uncertain times. Thank you so very much.